where are people going? Where are users going on the website? And we do have a pages report in GA4, which many of us may have a love-hate relationship with as well, because the pages report can be really helpful for specific pages. If there are one or two that you want information on, great. But there are way too many pages, individual line items for every single page on your website, even small websites. This example has almost 1,800 individual pages to have to look at, and it just makes it impossible to zoom out. But using tagging, we can try to solve that. So we know that each page in our site tends to live in a section. Usually we set up the navigation so it mirrors that. People can navigate to different sections. We know that like this page lives in a schools section of this website. And when we send the page view tag, we can add that information. Not only are we saying this was a page view of this specific page, but also that it lives in this section, this schools section of the website. And once we do that for the entire site, we're able to go from 1,800 individual pages to 10 sections. This is way easier to digest, to analyze how people are using the site, where they're going, how much time they're spending in each of those sections. It lets us focus on the more important sections, or identify sections that could use a little better discoverability. There are maybe content sections of our website that we spend a lot of time on, and people aren't discovering those or aren't going to those as much as we would like. That kind of brings back some of the navigation tagging as well. You can start to use these data points together to understand, okay, this many people are going to the blog. Maybe they're just not finding it.
You know, it's interesting, Madge. These are like content groupings, and usually when we think of like what is good data, typically people talk about data that is obviously that's accurate, but then also we talk about like data that's rich and granular, and like some of the like custom stuff that we were shown so far. Rarely do people talk about data that is like highly usable. And I would say this falls in that category. We're not collecting any new data per se. We're just making the data that we're already collecting much easier to access and report on, so that we don't have to manually analyze 1,800 line items and put them in buckets. We do it now. I can make sense of 10 pretty quickly and pretty easily. I don't need to spend hours and hours and hours doing that work, like manually putting pages together.